Today's topic is gratitude. I thought it was a good way to end off the year 2020 and begin 2021. So there are 4 layers of gratitude that we can practice, that we can incorporate into our day. The first layer is the most common, with lots of people suggesting to make gratitude lists, and this can be verbal or written. And most people start with something like five things to be grateful for each day and work their way up from there. And when we start with 5, it can be what we were grateful for yesterday, like what were some good things about yesterday. And we might think about that when we first wake up in the morning. We can think about 5 things we are looking forward to in a day. We can think about 5 random things that we're grateful for. Maybe it's sunny outside, maybe we're looking forward to seeing someone. And we can go up to doing long lists, going for a walk and practicing gratitude for the whole time. We can write pages like as an exercise. So if we have some time, one day we have 20 minutes, we can write 3 full pages of things that we're grateful for. And that's something to build up to. It takes a bit of time if someone's not used to practicing gratitude in that way. And what's nice about this practice is that it's very free. Like the mind can think about anything, any topic. And if we practice writing pages, we can choose a different topic per page. So it's a free-feeling, imaginative way of practicing gratitude. The next layer is ritual-based, and this is how we bring gratitude into the day with us. So instead of having it be a practice that we do for 5 minutes a day, or something that we schedule in at a random time, like maybe if we're waiting for a bus and we think, okay, I can practice gratitude because I'm just waiting for the bus. Ritual-based brings gratitude into the day in a more consistent way. So some people might practice gratitude during their morning ritual and during their evening ritual. So for example, when they're showering, or right before they exercise, or right after they meditate. And the next common way that people do ritual-based gratitude is around mealtime. So before a meal, after a meal. And this way, if we're eating 3 times a day and we're doing it in the morning and in the evening, then we have 5 times in the day that we're practicing gratitude. Sandwiching our day in that way is a great way to make sure that we're coming back to gratitude and positivity consistently. And it anchors, like having a ritual-based gratitude practice anchors that exercise to something so that it's easy to think of over and over again each day. And it's easy to come back to that. The next way of practicing gratitude is a little bit harder. The next layer is when we encounter a negative situation, a negative person, when something is a challenge for us and we notice our mind getting a little bit negative, getting a little judgmental, critical, or even going into a rant on the inside or on the outside. This type of gratitude is about catching ourselves in that experience and pivoting to focus on something positive. And this is a type of gratitude where we are really actively building a muscle, because when we are getting into a place where something is bothering us or something is hard to be positive about, it's a lot of resistance. So that builds the muscle much faster. And one other reason why it's less Why it's less actively practiced is because writing a gratitude list, as I said, it's a very like free experience where we can think of anything. We can think of something with our health, we can think of something with our home, we can think of, animals we like we can just think of anything. Whereas with specific negative situations or challenges, or people, it's the mind is already fixated on something, and it doesn't get to free flow to think of gratitude or think of positive aspects when a situation is already getting the momentum going in the other direction. So practicing that regularly and being able to catch ourselves and consistently trying to get back to it. So even if we skip a day, even if we skip a situation, as long as we keep coming back to it and keep trying, it will build over time, even if in the beginning it seems really, really tough. And the last layer of practicing gratitude is generally, I think, the hardest, but it's also the most effective. And that is the ability to witness and acknowledge incremental improvement. So instead of wanting something to be positive or negative, wanting something to either feel good or to kind of trick ourselves into feeling something or thinking something, the ability to witness and acknowledge incremental improvement is a much more realistic way of practicing gratitude. So for example, like let's say we work in an office and there's a person in the office that is difficult. They're difficult to talk to or be around, and every time there's a group meeting, they cut people off over and over and over again. So if this person cuts people off 10 times in a meeting, it's really easy that in the next meeting, the moment they start cutting people off, it bothers us again, or we get upset again. But if we step back and at the first meeting they cut people off 10 times, and at the second meeting they only cut people off 6 times, so for most people would get bothered that second meeting. And this layer of gratitude, the reason that it's the healthiest is because it's based on long-term thinking. It removes like a black and white thinking, or thinking in extremes where something has to be good or it has to be bad. This is about that if we consistently put effort, we consistently show up over and over again, as long as we're getting a little bit better, as long as situations are getting a little bit better, that's what matters. So it's not about it all of a sudden being an ideal situation. It's not about a person all of a sudden being easy to get along with or easy to communicate with or work with. It's about, as long as there's incremental improvement, something small, it helps restabilize, and it helps us think from a bigger perspective. And if we are doing this consistently, witnessing and acknowledging incremental improvement in ourselves, in others, and in situations, it will become a way of being, it'll become a way of life that will be so helpful in the mind, and in everyday feelings. We'll just feel so much better about things. Another example is, if it was really stormy outside and we went out and our socks got wet, like in our shoes, and it was uncomfortable, and then the next day it's really gray and it's really cloudy and it's kind of cold, but it's not storming, and we get to have dry socks. It's like that is something to be happy about, because it's an incremental improvement. We're not looking for a sunny day, with the ideal cloud coverage and all of those things. It's just that we remember, oh, this is really nice because I'm going to have dry socks today and I'm really happy, through practicing the gratitude list and then doing the ritual-based gratitude and then pivoting in negative situations and finally getting to this space where we are focused on incremental improvement. It'll just bring like a stability to our mental patterns with people, with ourselves, and with life situations in general. So hopefully that is helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you for listening. I'm sending you lots of blessings from Toronto.